Today's reading is an entry from the Monster Encyclopedia book series, Boggleboe. Though they may have the adorable appearance of a young girl clad in animal costumes, these are genuine monsters. It is thought that the lost souls of girls revive as these monsters after coming to dwell in stuffed animals. In some regions, there is ancient belief handed down that souls can easily come to dwell in dolls, stuffed animals, and the like. Since we have living dolls, this may be true, but especially in cases such as when the deceased had a strong attachment to a stuffed animal during life, or when the parents treasured the things left behind by their daughters. Strong emotions bind with mana, resulting in a state in which it is extremely easy for souls to dwell within them, and sometimes they invite wandering souls. When humans monsterize, passion arises and they become self-aware of it, along with the monstrous instinct to satisfy that. Usually, they begin giving off an inhuman, bewitching aura, along with their words and behavior will naturally become more seductive. However, if these monsters are stripped of their costumes, they look no different than a regular human, and they don't give off the same monster-like aura that they did before. Those who see them would just get the impression that they're just an ordinary human girl wearing a costume. Furthermore, neither is there any of the ferocity or confusion due to the deprivation of essence that is typically seen in freshly arisen undead. So after resurrecting as a Boggleboe, many of them will spend their existence with their family just as they did in life. However, since their vessel, in which their souls dwell, have the form of animals, they have an awareness of themselves as animals, and sometimes display behavior based on that. Yet it is not strictly faithful to the traits and behaviors of the animal in question, instead being something silly, almost like animal pretend play based on what a child might possibly know about the characteristics of said animal. On the other hand, their extraordinary physical abilities are nothing that one could dismiss as child's play. If they're a bear, they get freakish strength and explosiveness. If they're rabbits, they get superior hearing and jumping ability. If they're dogs, they get an excellent sense of smell and agility, and so on. Their abilities aren't just as good as animals they're even on par with beastmen of said animal. They reveal their animal side when they're fond of the opposite sex. To these girls, who are animals in their own words, a fondness for a specific man means that they recognize that male as their mate. It is none other than the passion to breed and procreate, as if to assert their animal nature, they'll start to aggressively engage in courtship behaviors such as rubbing their entire body against said man, or sticking their butt towards him to entice him. And if their prey doesn't respond to it, then, like a monster would, they'll pounce on him and pin him down, engaging in, quote, animal mating pretend play. End quote. Even how they go roar while attacking, it just looks like a young human girl playing around and pretending to be a monster. But only their prey will be taught firsthand that they are actually real monsters. Additionally, monsters are creatures that use all sorts of things released from their own body like mana, odors, and pheromones to attract men that they're after. But despite all the continuous exuding from their own body, Boggleboes do not release it outside. Instead, it builds up inside their costumes and becomes condensed pheromones. If they unfasten their costume and open up the front, like in the image, or if it is a man opens the front of it, then all the accumulated pheromones are released in that very moment, instantly robbing the prey in front of them of all sense of reason, transforming him into a rutting animal, like they want. Also, they say their costume can open wide, almost like the maw of a beast, and sometimes they try to bite men. If bitten in the head, a man will then be taken inside the costume, with his head pushed into her chest, and wind up smelling her condensed pheromones from the tip of his nose pressed against her bare skin. The intensity is incomparable to pheromones simply released into the air, and men will go crazy for the female in front of him and wind up absorbed in the, quote, animal pretend play with her.